Hi everyone, welcome back. In the previous video I showed you how to set up the quest editor and the quest system, and in this video I will talk a bit more about how the system works and how the editor works. So the first we're gonna do is just remove the old saves. So we start with the clear editor. So I'm gonna go to the project folder, save, and then save games. I'm gonna destroy whatever save I have here. So that's it. And now I'm gonna go to the project and go to Windows, Editor Utility Widgets, Quest Editor. So this is how the editor looks at first glance. You can see it's very similar to the Blueprints viewport. It has a viewport, the black background. You can see here. It has a detail panel at the top right, that is where you have all the variables, and you're gonna do most of the setting. You have a text here that indicates what you are editing at the top center. Currently it's NPC and we have nothing more. And at the top left you will see some message appear sometimes when the system needs to communicate with you. And at the left bottom you will see some message for errors when you, depending on what you're doing. So to create first an NPC, we're gonna shoot add a new name. You can also select all ones, but for now we are not gonna allow. So let's enter a new NPC name. It's gonna be example NPC, and you can see now some other variables appeared to set the dialogue and quest, but we don't have anything yet for this. Of course, I don't want to set the example ones. So we're gonna save, but first you need to know that the data table that we used to save is the one that you have selected here. So we don't want to save in NPC examples now. We're gonna set in the data table that we created in the previous video. So let's select it. It's NPCs. We have nothing here, remember? And so let's go and save. So now you see a message, the NPC has been saved. And for now that's all we're gonna do in this tab. So we're gonna go to the quest tab here at the top of the details panel. Let's click it. And now you can see that the variables have changed. Now you can set the quest name, quest tags, depending on the tags you can use them to some additional logic that you want to add, or to know what type of quest this is. For example, you can have main quest, secondary quest, etc. Then you have the quest loading and saving. This is the same that is in NPC. You can select data tables. If you save, it will be using this data table. For now I'm not gonna load. And of course the editor has an independent save that saves periodically in case that you want to go back to some version, or you are doing something and not sure, etc. And of course you can reset the editor. This will do nothing now if we click it because this is already reset. So let's add a quest name first. If you don't have a quest name you will not be able to save it. So let's say this is sample quest. Now you can see it changed at the top center the editing text, and the error message is saying you need to place some nodes. The quest can have two types of nodes, the toll task and the task. The toll tasks are the more simple ones. We're gonna start with that. So let's hold Alt and left click, and we're gonna place one node. This node looks a bit different from the other nodes in the previous video. That's because I made some change, some improves. So don't be worried, you probably have these ones. You can see the node has a content. For now it has nothing in it, but the title is the upper part and has a content also here. These are two things that you can configure later on for task. You have at the right the errors. You can display some errors for tasks. You can also customize these ones. So the error saying that we have not NPC or text set. You can see there is a text that indicates if this is a start node or an end node. Any node that has nothing in it connected to the superior connector is a start node, and the for ends is the same with the inferior connector. Of course there are other buttons for disabling. We're not gonna use them now. Remember that if you click the viewport, you go to the quest tab, and you click the node, you will go to the node tab, so you can set variables on depending on what you're clicking. If you click the node, you can see you can set the NPC. Let's select the NPC that we should created. Let's say example NPC, and let's put some text here. Hi, do you like, let's just say hi, do you like this tutorial? So now you can see the node has no more errors, and this is itself a quest. Of course, a very simple one, so we're gonna add some more nodes. Let's say the NPC is the sample one. Let's say yes, of course, right? That's nice. And now you can see that if you click the connectors, the inferior one, you can connect to the top one of the other node, and you establish a connection between the nodes. So this means that this node will activate first, and with this completed, it will activate the other one. The node is yellow because it's a required connection. You can have different type of connections. You can have optional connections. We're gonna see them later. Of course, remember that this works exactly like or similar to the viewport from Blueprint. So you can drag the nodes, you can drag multiple ones. You can also drag the viewport with right click, so if you want to move it. And of course, there are a lot of key bindings and shortcuts that will allow you to go faster with the process. If you want to learn about them, you should go to the documentation. There are all there are plenty. I'm not gonna explain them all. So this is a simple quest. You can have, of course, has many start nodes and have many end nodes as you want. So for example, if I do that, I'm gonna have a new start node. This start node can be with the same or different one from these, I mean NPCs. You can have, of course, end node with different NPCs too, or with tasks, doesn't matter. And I'm gonna show you some tasks now. So for the task, you need to hold Control. This is the task node. You can see that the task required to set a type. For now, you have some basic ones that come with the plugin. So you have some conditions. If it has a quest completed, or a node completed, or a quest completed with some endings. And of course, you have the timer ones. You can see in previous video probably. So this allows to set a timer. Let's say I choose a condition here. You can see that tasks have different UIs for setting the variables. These are called selectors in the system, and you can customize them too. So if you have a custom task, you will have to make some custom selectors for them. Of course, they are modular. You can reuse them for different tasks. You can also customize the content, as you see here. They have a different way of showing the information. They can have different size, etc. Pretty much everything you can change. I'm gonna add a toll task now. I'm gonna explain a little bit more about the connections. So let's say this is a secondary toll task, and I say no, I don't like this tutorial. Don't like the tutorial. That's not cool. And you can see here, let's remove this for now. You should press delete and remove the selected ones. Let's say you have this quest, and let's add one more node. Let's just put something here. End of quest. Let's set the NPC to forget about the error. And we have now a very simple quest that has one node that when activate, it will activate two other nodes, and when you select one of the other, you will not activate this one. You will need to complete both, because these, remember, are required links. So if you want to change that, you can click the links and set to optional, and now this node will require to choose one of these optional nodes in order to activate. So if you choose this or you choose this node will activate. But the problem is that the nodes itself is gonna be active. So for example, if you complete this one, this will be still active. So you don't want that. You want to be able to disable it, and that's why we need this disable connection with the red buttons. So if you click it and select the other nodes, remember that these are the same. The left or the right one doesn't matter. Choose the same node, and it's not like the superior and inferior that are different nodes. So now we connected this way, and this node, after completing, it will disable this other node, so the player won't be able to see it or complete it or anything else. So if you select this option, this node will be disabled, but if you select this one, this node will not be disabled. So this node also needs to disable this other one. So this is a very common thing that happens, that these nodes are mutually disabled, and it means basically they are options. So if the player select one or the other, the rest will be disabled. So if you, for example, have another one, let's say I add a node, let's say the NPC, it's okay. Let's put some text. So this node, you can have it to disable these other two, and these ones it gets a bit complicated. So a good shortcut for this is pressing M, and every node will be disabled mutually. If I move them around, you can see all the connections. So that's a nice shortcut. Of course, this node cannot be a required one, so let's make it optional. And if I press Q, it will align to grid, and that's a nice shortcut. So that's a pretty basic quest. I will add a timer here also to show you. If you have, for example, timer, let's put some time here. The timers are a bit different from normal tasks. So when the timer runs out, it fails. This is by design, and of course the behavior of the disabled nodes change a little bit. So if you have the nodes connected disabledly with other nodes, and the node completes, it will disable them, but if the node fails, it will make them fail. So the timer uses this mechanic and is connected to all the nodes that you want to have the timer on. So it's gonna be all of them, and if the timer fails and you are in one of these, they will fail too, and you probably will fail the quest. And of course, if you want to disable the timer because you completed one of the options, you will have to have it disabled by this node too. So this is gonna be mutually connection too. Let's put it like that. So that's basically all you need to know for quests. Of course, remember the task is something that you can customize a lot. The power of the system radicates here, and I will show you in the next videos probably something more about the tasks. So for now, let's save this. Remember the data table, you need to select the one you want to save it to. So let's put quests. We don't have it, any quest in there, so let's save. We have name. Let's see the message here, it's saved. So let's go to dialog now at the top right of the details panel. And the dialogs are really pretty similar to quests. The only difference is that they cannot have tasks, but they only can have told tasks. So let's make a very simple one. Let's say this is a dialog. Of course, you can see that you cannot set the NPC. That's because the dialog can be used by any NPC, and the NPC is considered to be the one that you set it to, so they assigned it to. So you can reuse them for any NPC. You can have general dialogues or very specific ones. That depends on you. So let's say something here. would dialog end. Let's shoot something. Remember to save to the data table dialog that we created, and of course we need a name for this. Let's go say example dialog and choose save. And now the last part is set this quest and dialog that we made to the NPC. So let's go back to the NPC tab and let's select the dialogs data table, and now you can see the example dialog that we should created. So let's set that, and on quest you're gonna find the quest that we should created too. The example quest is in quest, and we're gonna click add to quest. So the quest has to have a node that starts with this NPC to be able to be assigned to the NPC. So this quest has it, so let's save it. You can remove them if you want with this. I'm not gonna go there. So this is basically everything to making a NPC, a quest and a dialogue. So the last thing we need to do is the NPC actor that we hold this, because we have only the example ones that we created in last videos. So let's first save all, and then we go to the folder that says NPCs. I'm gonna duplicate one of these. This is the example NPC, and we need the information from the data table to set it. So I'm gonna open it, and I'm gonna go to the blueprints, quest, data tables, NPCs, NPC data table, and we can see this is the NPC that we should create. I'm gonna take the row name is just NPCs. It's always like that. Let's go open. Let's go to the NPC manager, and this is the duplicated one. So let's set the NPC name, and in the data table we need to select the NPCs. So that's it. Let's compile and save, and let's place it in the map. So example NPC, this is the one. Should drag it into the map, rotate it a bit, and let's save the map, and should hit play. And if you go here, you can see we have a dialog, the second tall task of the dialog. This is the first one, is automatically set in this UI, and then you can start the quest. But I'm gonna open the editor first. I'm gonna set the quest. I'm gonna change a bit the position of the editor. I'm gonna stop playing. I'm gonna open it in a window. So new editor window pie. Now I see it in this little window. I'm gonna resize it a bit. And now you can see that you don't have only the details panel, but also you have the debug panel. If you open it, you will see a bit of variables. You can select the player. If you are in a multi-player with some more than one client, you can select them. You can see some variables from the quest manager, the NPCs, and the active quest. So let's open the game, and I'm gonna start the quest. I'm gonna move it a bit right here, there. So let's say hi in the quest, and you can see the state of the nodes that are shown in the editor. You can see this one is completed because I should click it, and now I have 3 active options, and I have the timer that we made. I'm gonna select any of these. Do you like the tutorial? Yes, of course. There is no other option here. And you can see this one completed, and the other ones are disabled. The timer is also disabled, and I have this the last talk option. so it's okay. You cannot see these ones in the Y. You can see some of these variables are updated, so the example quest is active, etc, etc. I'm gonna complete the quest, and you can see now that for this NPC this quest is completed, this is the last quest that we completed, etc. And you can see the node states when you complete it. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.